the root cause of disease and illness. Listen to this. Let's take a deep dive and discover the truth. Infectious diseases are disorders caused by organisms such as bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites. Many organisms live in and on our bodies. They're normally harmless or even helpful, but under certain conditions, some organisms may cause disease. Now let's take a deeper look. In the first category we're going to go with is viruses. And viruses are like hijackers. They invade living normal cells and use those cells to multiply and produce other viruses like themselves. This can kill, damage, or change the cells and make you sick. Different viruses attack certain cells in your body, such as your liver, respiratory system, or blood. Now let's take a look at parasites. A parasitic infection can be spread in a normal ways. It's spread through contaminated water, food, waste, soil, and blood. Some can be passed through sexual contact. Some parasites are spread by insects that act as a vector or carrier of the disease. And what we're going to find out even more is what's really going on. I want you to take a look at this.
A disease has 1,000 names, but health has only one. Wikipedia tells us there are innumerable ways in which a disease can be classified. It may be acute or chronic, physiological or psychological, communicable or non-communicable, and so on. So how to make a head or tail of the type and occurrence of diseases that they could be understood and managed? Well, we can actually classify most of them in 4 basic types, and each type requires a different management. 1. Infectious diseases. Also called acute diseases, infections caused by attack of external organisms, usually microscopic in size. Bacteria, viruses, fungi, and yeast are some of the common examples. Other agents such as worms, insects, reptiles, and protozoa as well can attack human systems through various channels and cause illnesses. Examples of such infections range from common cold or influenza to more aggressive diseases like amoebiasis and malaria, further to deadlier ones like meningitis, tuberculosis, or even HIV or AIDS. These organisms may be transmitted through air, water, food, or touch, including sexual contact. 2. Injuries. The most common cause of injuries are accidents like fall and collisions, which may be on road, a sports event, or even slippage in bathroom. War, fight, or crime situations, natural calamities like earthquakes, fires, or floods are some of the other causes of injuries. Depending upon the intensity and nature of impact, injuries can be of any degree and may affect skin, bones, or any external or internal organs. Examples of such injuries may be burns, fracture or puncture of internal organs, and trauma to the brain. 3. Lifestyle diseases. Also called chronic diseases, these ailments usually reflect and evolve in our body over a long period of time. A broad classification may be: A. Physiological diseases such as asthma, diabetes, cancer, dementia, arthritis, hypertension, coronary blockage, migraines, bone muscle joint pains, and so on. Most humanity suffers from one or the other innumerable diseases and ailments under this category. B. psychological and neurological diseases, such as addictions, depression, drug abuse, and so on. These ailments and disorders are also prevalent in large population of modern world and are majorly caused due to lack of well-being over long periods. C. Emotional disorders like food addiction, behavioral disorder, obsessive-compulsive disorder, anxiety, anger, and so on. Psychological and emotional disorders are generally considered interlinked and overlapping. 4. Congenital diseases, such as congenital heart diseases, clubfoot, and chromosomal disorders are found in some babies at the time of their birth. These disorders may be hereditary or non-hereditary, genetic or non-genetic in nature. Yes, it does seem fairly uncomplicated now. But how can we bundle so many diseases and ailments under lifestyle? Does it mean we can prevent them? Of course, as health and well-being are essentially a function of disease prevention on one side and pursuing a healthy lifestyle on the other so that our body can give us the pleasures it is meant to provide. Rich Life's take on disease prevention is captured in a separate video. However, in brief, we may understand as follows. 1. Infections and injuries are not entirely preventable, but we can take several measures like create hygienic conditions around us, follow prescribed prevention for accidents, and thus minimize their occurrence. 2. Lifestyle diseases are largely preventable if we start early enough and follow a healthy lifestyle. 3. Congenital diseases are seemingly non-preventable. However, there are studies that show they may be minimized by following certain routines for the mothers to be before the birth of a child. Let's not forget that the natural forces within us are the true preventers and healers of disease. We just have to nurture those forces.
Some say there's different kinds of things that are the root cause of disease and illness. Some say it's mucus. Some say it's parasites. Some say it's viruses, bacteria, fungi, and other causes like disorders. But what is really going on? And what is really the problem? And let's take a deeper look into mucus and let's find out if that's what's causing it or something else. Mucus, which is made of glycoproteins and water, traps pollution and foreign particles before they can do harm to the lungs. However, with diseases like asthma, too much mucus that is too thick is produced, which makes breathing difficult and raises risk of infection. During an infection, the mucus contains the viruses or bacteria responsible for the infection, as well as infection-fighting cells of the body's immune system, white blood cells. The film itself is not dangerous, but when present in large amounts, it can clog the airways. And let's see what else causes the mucus can do to the body. The mucus, let's find out what happens when your body produces too much mucus. Thick mucus that clogs certain organs such as the lungs, pancreas, and intestines. This may cause malnutrition, poor growth, frequent respiratory infections, breathing problems, and ongoing chronic lung disease, and many more. Let's find out if that's what's really causing it or not. I want you to take a look at this clip and let's dive even deeper.
So at the Usha research, first we wanted to know what was disease. What is disease? Because it seemed to be misinterpreted. Everyone is talking about departmentalizing or individualizing disease. When you have diabetes, it's different from having leukemia. When you have sickle cell anemia, most certain it's not like leukemia, they're different. When they are not, they've never been different. They're coming from the same source. The mucous membrane of our biological structure has been compromised, meaning that the mucous membrane has been broken. And wherever that break has taken place, would determine the disease that you would manifest. Like, for instance, like we always say, if the mucous membrane has been compromised in the nasal passage, it is what? Sinusitis. In the bronchial tubes, bronchitis. On the lungs, pneumonia. In the pancreas, diabetes. On the brain, schizophrenia, paranoia, or Parkinson's disease, insomnia, depending where the mucus is located. So we took the position, and we maintained that position, that there is only one disease manifesting in 1,000 different ways, the compromising of the mucous membrane. So that led Ma'a and I to think about not only addressing to one part of the body, but to address the total body, because the body is all interconnected and interrelated. We can't treat one side without the other. So we said, just go for it. An intracellular cleansing. Self-explanatory. Cleaning every cell that makes up every organ and system that totals the biological you. Meaning cleaning all of you. Not only your colon, like many have decided to do, to concentrate on the colon. No. We concentrate on the whole human body. Cleansing the human body is only but one part of the whole journey. The other is bringing back the energy that was lost by the presence of disease. That energy is supported by minerals, live minerals, phosphate of iron, phosphate of calcium, and phosphate of everything that we're going to use would have to be phosphate. Why? Because they, and they alone, are electrical. So as we recommend the intracellular cleansing, we know that the person in question, patient or client, has suffered the loss of energy by the presence of such disease. So, apart from part one, which is the cleansing, now we have to revitalize the system because it has been weakened. We can't select comfrey and golden seal, aloe vera, peppermint, echinacea. No. We have to go to Calawala. We have to go to Contrivo. We have to go to Cordoncillo Negro. And we have to go to the one that I favor most of all, the Pavana. Now we are talking about electric herbs for an electric body. After we selected these plants, these electrical plants, we made these compounds. In administering these plants, these compounds, we see that immediately in less than 24 hours our patient is saying, I am already feeling the effect of these medicines or this food. Why? because they are electrical. So there is an intracellular cleansing and the revitalizing of the same.
For everything that's going on, don't be discouraged. There are always solutions to every problem. With enough research, enough talking to your doctor, and enough exercise and eating healthy, and just learning in general can make a big difference. So it's very important that you learn all you can learn and do the best that you can do, and don't give up hope. And I would like you to stay tuned for next week when we dive even deeper.